Welcome to episode 3 of Skate to the Truth. Our names are Graces,
Omarion.
Ion.
and Swara. In this episode, we talk about chapter 15 to 13 of Indian Horse. We talk about the brutal cafe scene where the moose are assaulted, digging into how racism is meant to strip them of dignity, and why Saul refuses to fight back, choosing to protect what hockey means to him and his sense of self. We then talk about the significance of hockey being described with nature imagery as we unpack Father Leboutillier as a complicated mix of support and harm. Finally, we look at why Saul hesitates to go to the minor league team, the brotherhood and community he finds with the Moose, and our predictions for how his hockey career and trauma might lead back to the rehab center and God's Lake.
All right. Today we're joined by Ion digitally, so his audio. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, that was really loud, by the way, on the
sorry.
recording. So, yeah, sorry, Miss Ellie. Anyways, let's begin, guys.
So, what scene from these chapters stood out most to you guys and why?
Probably the cafe scene.
Yeah, me too.
That was
Yeah.
the most disturbing scene ever.
And I think the most impactful thing within that entire scene was the fact that the other people, they just wanted to humiliate them. It wasn't like an equal thing where we hate you for who you are. It's we hate you because of something
Yeah.
you can't control.
It's not
Yeah.
even like they put up an actual fight with them. It
Yeah.
was just like one-sided, like, oh,
And
you're
then-
gonna lose
Yeah.
today.
And the entire continuous spitting and then peeing on them,
Yeah.
it's just it's very unsettling.
Yeah.
What about you, Morgan?
I think the same thing. Like they didn't want to fight them. They gave the illusion that they were gonna get a fight, and that kind of excited the Moose because they wanted to prove themselves. Yeah, they wanted to prove themselves to these people. So they went out there expecting a fight, and then they didn't get a fight. All they got was disrespect, and there was no honor in it.
And although not directly correlated, I think it connects to what we talked about last time, where we talked about even if Saul excels at certain things, he's still not going to be at the equal level of a white person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now in hockey, he's arguably better than everyone else, but it's he still doesn't get that level of respect that he
Yeah.
deserves. What about you,
And
Ayan?
it's oh, so sorry. Yeah.
Continue.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, and how it was so natural for them too. He was describing it, how they were just dancing and just smoothly doing it, no sound. They weren't laughing. They weren't enjoying. They probably did enjoy it, but they weren't physically showing happiness from this. They just did it it was a regular Tuesday to them. It's kind of shocking how they've perfected it in a sense. How many more people could they have done that to in the past, in a sense?
I feel they do feel it's their duty to keep their areas restricted for only white people, which is really weird because the team especially, they weren't bugging anyone. They were all together. They weren't really conversing with anyone either. So it just shows their prejudice.
Yeah, and it's interesting too how, because do you guys remember how they talked about how there was a police car outside, or not outside, well, there's a police car in the area, right? So I think that kind of pressured the Moose away from getting into an actual group fight with them, and that's what allowed them to take them out one by one and do what they did to them. So I think in another scenario, the Moose would have fought them as a group and they could have won, but they divided them and they had no power to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel about them not doing it to Saul though?
Yeah,
Pardon?
I was actually surprised that they didn't take
Me
him
too.
out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring theme of Saul being protected by his big brother figures and not having to go through everything that they go through so that Saul can have a better life.
But okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it not the other people's
Yeah,
decision not to do it
yeah,
to
it
him?
was
I don't think
their
the other
decision.
players really did
Yeah.
anything for Saul in that scenario.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just a theme in the book
yeah, yeah.
that
I
Saul
connected
doesn't go through
it
the worst
to
things.
his Indian horse gift in a way, oh, that the spiritual protection that he got from his ancestors, oh
Yeah.
that's why they didn't take him out and do that to him.
Yeah. I feel with the pattern you're talking about of Saul having certain advantages due to his age and his abilities,
Yeah.
I feel that's why it makes it extra frustrating when he gets the opportunity to do something
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's his teammate talking about. Wait.
Yeah.
So, what you were saying?
Yeah, what I was saying was like it was also interesting how his teammate was saying that if he found him and like he didn't take his opportunity and like in the future he's just skating around in an outdoor rink, he's gonna go beat him up. And like that kind of connected with me to a movie I watched called Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
And in that movie, like it's a math prodigy, and his brother, he says like every day he wakes up, like and he goes to knock on his door, he hopes that he just isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his friend, but like he says it's his brother.
Yeah.
Side note, do you guys remember that one, I think it was in the earlier chapters in the residential school, where he was talking about his friends. I forgot the friend's name. He was like a funny bloke, and he would like make jokes all the time. And like later on, like they were like working in the field, and like a tractor's belt broke off and killed the kid. And like, I just wanted to find out on how Saul described it is so like calmly in a sense. Like I feel like all the other things earlier in the chapters, he felt like he gave depth. He made it seem like he showed how bad it was. But for this one situation when he was talking about this kid where his head got split open, he just said, "Oh, his head got split open," and no one talked about it after that. Like there was nothing about there. There was no details. It was just he said it, moved on, and it felt so empty. Like how he's describing like that one girl who like cried and like licked her hand. It just felt so hollow how he described it in a sense.
I feel like that's just how they've been conditioned due to the residential school. Because it's like, okay, if you're not going to be hollow about it, what are you going to do? You're going to mourn it. You're going to talk about it together. But that's not really something you can do in a residential school setting. Like, you're going to be punished for that. So it kind of just reflects how it changes their emotions over time. And even when they're outside of a residential school setting, it's like it's hard to revert back to expressing your feelings like that.
Yeah, he just got desensitized to it.
Yeah. I think also that after the whole cafe incident happens, they're also silent the entire way down. Like, and I think Saul mentions after that, like, we never talked about it after that, but it's like you make eye contact with someone and you know you were both thinking about like that shameful feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's really just like a horrible thing. And it reflects how, I guess it connects to intergenerational trauma, because imagine these guys have kids, right? It's like this entire chain of not talking about your feelings, not expressing like what you are going through. It just gets passed down, and people have bottled up emotions.
One thing with the vocabulary throughout the entire 15 to 36, you kind of realize like he relates hockey a lot with nature. So like for example in chapter 18 you said like we stood like stallions home from the range, or in chapter 19 he was like, I don't know what Borin means, across the sky with on great wings, or chapter 20 I know howled is something people do, but it's like the crowd howled. All of these things tie back to like more of a naturistic vibe, and he describes hockey with a lot of nature in it as well.
I'm pretty sure it's
Like
a
that-
constellation, Orion.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
he
we
also said,
discussed this.
like-
Sorry, you can continue.
No, sorry. He's like a nest of twine, or eyes charcoaled glints, or hurled like comets. Yeah. So he just kept bringing up this idea of like nature.
Yeah, I think it connects to what we were talking about previously, and how these like small references and stuff, they still show that he hasn't lost his like sense of culture and his connection with nature.
Yeah.
I feel like if he hadn't like gotten on the hockey team and left the school, like sooner or later he would have like desensitized more, or like forgot about his culture more. And then even now, like you can hear him connect hockey to spirituality or nature, but over the time he wouldn't have connected anything to his culture.
Yeah. I think after, I guess, like losing his entire family in a sense,
Yeah.
he needs a place to be, and having like this, like, even though they go through horrible things together, but as an all indigenous like exclusive team,
Yeah.
it also gives them a sense of belonging. You know, you're with your people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Saul, even if he gets out of residential school, like where does he go? He has no one. So it's like he needed something to help get him out, but then also he's lucky that he had that something and he didn't have to go fully through it.
Yeah.
Like the kids that had to stay there for more years.
Yeah, and speaking of that something, what did you guys think about Father Le Botilier's role in Saul's life? In
I was
these
just gonna
chapters?
ask that.
Yeah,
I feel like he was like a good father figure to Saul. Like there were like chapters where he was like, oh, when they hugged, it was like, oh, it reminded me of my grandmother, or like, oh, that reminded me of my father, and he really felt connected to his family through the father.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you? You can
You can
continue.
go.
Did you guys like? Did everyone have a bad feeling about Le Botelier when he was
Yeah.
first
Yeah, that's
introduced?
what I was gonna say. Initially, I thought that obviously he was presented as like a good character in the beginning, but I thought no, like there has to be another layer to this. Like he can't just be all good. Because I
Yeah.
think often every context we hear about like the Catholic priests or nuns, it's like they're doing something bad.
Yeah.
So it was very, I guess, like surprising to see that he actually had a supportive figure.
Yeah. Why do you guys think the author wrote it like that? Why do you think he didn't like make Le Botelier take advantage of Saul, like respecting him and kind of liking him towards the end to like show something through the book?
I think it just shows that there's like duality to everything,
Yeah.
you know. Just like you
I
can't judge
actually,
indigenous,
yeah.
just like you can't judge indigenous people based off of stereotypes, you shouldn't do that for other groups either.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I felt okay. I'm here to disagree with you guys. I felt that Gautier, or not Gautier. I only know him as Gaston, like the father, right?
Yeah.
I felt that his presence at the start, he was portrayed in a different manner. Like he was portrayed as the other nuns and other priests disliked him, and I know this is just hoping, but I hope he was more of like those better priests, and that's just how he's portrayed. Like he could have done so many things in the book, like you guys say, but he didn't. Like from what we know, he didn't do any of those stuff. Like he hugged Saul with nothing bad happening, in a sense, right? And I felt that him being like that figure, they portrayed him in a way where it's like where was I going with this? What was the original question?
How did you
Bad
feel
feeling. Like,
about
I
Le
felt like-
Botelier's role?
Yeah, just because he was kind of seen as like an outsider of his own people, I got a good feeling from him. Like the nuns and the priests didn't like him. The nun, her name starts with a V. Like the nun that's normally like interacting with Saul, she didn't like him. She didn't want Saul to go to play hockey, but he pushed for that. I felt like he was a bit different in the sense. And later on in the chapters, he returns to Saul. He sees Saul playing, and that's not something you do with like just any other like indigenous person. Like he had a connection. He goes back to people, and if he was really part of like the indigenous or part of like the like Catholic culture in a sense, I don't think he would have done that. You know.
Yeah, I guess I can see that as well, but I don't know. I think I've just like based off of other things I've read, I just sort of assumed that something bad was gonna happen, you know?
And like till the fact that they were like, oh, this is the last time I saw him, or like we met, I was like, oh, there's something that's gonna happen in the future with
Yeah.
this guy. Like it was like a constant feeling until they were like, oh, this is the last time we ever met.
Yeah, exactly. And before, I remember we were talking about like, oh, he's gonna do good things, but then something bad is gonna happen suddenly, and that's gonna be his like sort of like the breaking point. So that's what I assumed like Father Le Botelier's role was, you know, like he was gonna be this nurturing figure, but then along the way something bad was gonna happen. So like you, I did have that feeling until the point they were like, oh, this is the last time I ever saw him.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Le Botelier knew about like all the terrible stuff they were doing to the children in the school, and like why do you think he doesn't like do anything?
I feel like, you know how they interviewed Father Gautier in the podcast,
Yeah.
and then he was like, oh yeah, I saw other priests like abusing children, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or like I wrote them up, but then like the higher ups didn't do anything about it. I feel like it was something like that. Like like Father Le Boutelier was portrayed as a person who wouldn't do that at the end of the day. But then again, he didn't have enough power in a sense to
Yeah.
like stop all the priests or all the nuns in that institution from abusing the kids there.
Damn.
Yeah, I feel like that in a sense also makes him like a very like round character, because you can have good parts to you, but then still be a part of like an institution that's like objectively like very bad. So I think it shows that even though he has this like good side and like he wants to push Saul to do great things, he's not like fully aware, or like maybe he is aware, but he's not educated on like the wrongs of the residential school system.
Yeah. Or maybe like he still believes in assimilation, but like he thinks he wants to do it in his way. He wants to do it through like a loving way, like but still ultimately it's a wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Like he has his methods of like introducing these kids to hockey. He's like doing whatever he can to get them into like kind of that like quote unquote Canadian culture.
Yeah. The whole like Canadian culture thing too, I feel like that's also why a lot of the white people that they play against feel threatened. That like this is a very like Canadian thing, you know, it's like very like it's a part of your identity, but then this group that you see as like others are better at it than you, like you can't really accept that fact.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case too. How did you guys feel when he said, "Wait, like I don't want to sound sarcastic. I agree with you guys." How did you guys feel when Saul asked him the question like, "Where was God?" Where was God? So like, remember when he got banned from playing on like the public tournaments, and on their ride back, Saul was like, "Do they not like me?" And he's like, "No, this is God's game." But then he asked like, "Where was God then?" Right? So what did you guys think of that? In a sense.
What did you think of it?
Okay now. Like, okay, for me personally, I felt like it showed that sense where he knew what was happening, but like Goche, he doesn't change like his ideologies at all. I don't know. I just want to see what you guys thought of that scene. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, like he still kept saying like, "Oh, it was God's game," but then it was also a valid point when Saul said like, "Oh, where was God when I wanted to play it?" Right?
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything onto that?
No.
Why do you think, okay, I think moving towards sort of the endish, because it was a part that really stuck out to me, why do you think Saul doesn't want to go into the NHL? Like, even though it is, like, everyone can see that it's a great opportunity for him, and he is good, like, why do you think he doesn't want to do that?
I think he thinks that they're disrespectful towards the game. Like he doesn't care about
Wait, sorry, the NHL? Or who?
yeah, like people like the white people
Okay,
and
yeah.
like he knows that he would still face that same discrimination in the NHL, and he thinks that's disrespectful to the game. And it's not like the elegant game he likes, like out in nature,
Yeah.
where like you know the ice is uneven, there's wind blowing, and he has to adapt. Like he doesn't care for the environment and the atmosphere in stadiums. Like he likes hockey. He doesn't like playing against these guys who don't really care about the hockey. They just care about like maybe the money or the fame that comes from it.
Yeah, I see that, but I also think it's interesting because Saul did have the drive to like, you know, get up early in the morning, like practice very quietly, do it with like the horse poop, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like you expect someone with that drive to like always aim for like better things, but he doesn't want to lose this connection he has. So I think even though he has this like opportunity and like this drive for achievements, his community that he's found within like the team matters to him more.
Yeah. And like you have to understand, like Saul, he's still like just a kid. Like is he even older than us right now in the book?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
I
like
think,
he
I think
probably
he's our age at the end.
Yeah.
yeah,
somewhere
he
around
doesn't really have an understanding of what it means for him to be like the first indigenous player
Yeah.
in the NHL and what that's gonna mean for other people. Like he's selfish in that way, but like he just doesn't have that knowledge. But his like the people on the Moose are trying to push him and they're trying to show him that like he needs to do this.
It's kind of like that the Goodwill you were talking about. The
Goodwill
movie.
Hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think if the people on the team were like didn't push him to go to the NHL, would he go?
No, I don't think so. I think he put so much value in this like group he's found, and it's also I feel like a lot of people experience this where you care about something, but you care about it because it's something very personal to you. But as soon as you tie it with these like outer expectations, it kind of like takes the fun out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
I
for
feel like. Oh, yeah.
yeah, you can continue.
Oh, I was gonna agree with you on that part where it's like he only does all this stuff for his love for the people around him. He doesn't like doing what he's doing in hockey wise. Like he still hasn't fought anyone yet. But he's not liking the idea where in hockey you have to like fight people. He doesn't like that idea. He likes the idea of just like playing the game for fun. And I feel he's only doing all this higher level stuff for his love for other people, which just shows his spirited in a sense, like his spirit and his determination and like his identity.
Yeah. What did you guys think about his decision not to like fight the people and just take like the humiliation that came with it instead?
Like, I think it ties back to what I was saying, where like he doesn't want to disrespect the game. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't think that's not hockey to him. Like maybe like you can hit people, and if your objective is to actually play hockey, then maybe he would do that. But he wouldn't hit someone just to hit someone to get in their head or to get like revenge because they hit him. Like he doesn't care for that.
I feel like I understand that, but also like the peer pressure, you know what I mean? Like your entire team wants you to behave a certain way and like you're kind of getting humiliated because of your lack of action. I feel like if I was in his place, I would be compelled to just like give in to the pressure.
Yeah.
But I don't know what really motivates him to not give in.
It's kind of it's kind of like a parallelism. I might be using the wrong word, but do you remember earlier when with the pond and the fish and how they saw themselves in the fish? It could be in the same sense where Saul realizes that maybe violence is not the best way of doing this because it reminds him of how his pain and how it relates to back to like the schools and how people would hit them to like assimilate and like get into line. But he doesn't really find that as an answer in a sense where he's like, I'm not gonna do this because it's not right. And it might show I don't know, like that's how I kinda see it in a way. Do you guys get what I'm saying or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Okay.
in the sense where if he loses his temper, like what does he really have then? You know what I mean? Like he has a skill and everything and he just wants to stick to that. He doesn't want to become like everyone else. Like he has his own thing and he's going to stick to it.
Yeah. Also, it connects back to like that one night in the residential school where he's like determined like he won't let them see him cry, and it's an extension of that where he just won't let them get under his skin. Like he won't let them see that they actually have that effect on him to the point where they force him to do something, because then that would be their victory, not his.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you feel like when he got the first star thing for the game? Like
Yeah.
there's 3 stars and he got
Yeah.
the first star and he was like, I'm not going back out there. But then his team, like Virgil especially, he's like pushing him to go, like, oh, you have to go, it's a
Yeah.
tradition. Like how do you feel about that? Because like he didn't want it.
I think he just really like wants to be a part of like a community, but he doesn't really want to be like like a leader or like a role model within that community because he is
Yeah.
just like a young person. Like it's a lot of pressure to put on a young person compared to like other people on his team. I'm pretty sure one of the guys has kids on his team, right? Like he was talking about it and he's like, oh, I have a
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
and kids. And it's just like it is kind of odd when you think about it from his perspective. Like I'm with all these like older brother figures, but I'm the one that has to like do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he also says like, oh, I expected booze to rain down, but then when I coasted out and took a turn on the center ice, the applause and stamping feet sounded like thunder rolling around the arena. So at the end of the day, like the audience did like applaud him for his game and did acknowledge him for like his skills.
Maybe that might motivate him to continue playing hockey at higher levels. Like seeing people that are like him and that actually respect the game of hockey no matter who's playing it. And like even though before they were booing him, they see how well he played and now they're cheering. So he kind of thinks that maybe he can find that in the future as well.
It feels kind of ironic in a sense that he's the more he pushes away from what he doesn't like, the more people kind of like give him this praise, like the stars, him not getting beaten up. Like he doesn't like doing these things, and from him pushing back, it's kind of like kind of fighting against him and like making him. Do you see like I don't know how to describe it besides that. Like it's like a pushback where he doesn't want something, but it's still happening to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we know that Fred went to a residential school. How do you guys think that affected him and Virgil and the team?
So we know that Fred went, so he had like an idea of what was happening in the residential schools. So I feel like that would connect with Saul and all the other team members that went to residential school, so they actually know what they went through.
Yeah. I think also just like the sense of solidarity. Like before, I think we talked about this, but when Saul goes to residential school and he already has that connection through his brother who's gone through like the same thing, I think now having people that are like alive and well and also gone through the same thing, it can continue to motivate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you see like moments where the shared residential school experience like kind of comes through, like when they're looking at each other and they're like, oh, they're staying silent, but they know exactly what the other person is thinking about and like the humiliation, and they don't want to say it. It's the exact same thing that was in residential school
Yeah.
that they talked about.
They form this like sort of brotherhood, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's pretty like I guess symbolic because Saul lost his like actual brother.
Yeah.
But do you think that like sort of pressure from this like older authority like brother figure will make Saul want to join the NHL? Even though he doesn't really want to, but it's like I guess if like someone you look up to is saying that to you.
Yeah, I think he ultimately will. They'll convince him, like, even if it's through threats, like, they're going to beat him up if he doesn't join. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to get him to join no matter what. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it ties back to his love, in a sense, for his brother, and like it's kind of fulfilling that hole in him of like missing his brother at such a young age, where he's able to like repay his brother with
Yeah.
his new brother, in a sense.
Speaking of his brother, do you guys think that the book is going to talk about his brother in any way anymore? Like, is he going to reference his brother or, like, spiritually or anything like that?
Maybe in like memories, like oh he'll like be talking about him, like oh we did this, we did that, I remember this in
Yeah.
that way. But I don't feel like they're gonna bring the topic back
Yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah. I think okay, assuming that he does go in the NHL, and like let's say we get like a glimpse of his like first game, I feel like he will have a moment where it's like I'm achieving like this like big thing. I wish my family was here
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
he'll be like, oh, I see my brother in the stands or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Or it'll be like, oh, I see my entire family in the moose,
Yeah.
cause like we already know, like oh he sees like a brother figure in Virgil.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so he ends up seeing his entire family, like the new family he created or like he got from the team
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Virgil as a character though? Because I feel like there is something that differentiates him a lot, like other than just like the brotherhood part. There is this like sense of openness to him. Because after the whole cafe things happened, right? Is it Virgil that like
Yeah,
talks
Virgil's
about
the
it?
only
Yeah,
one who
and
says
he's the
it.
only one that talks about it and like sort of opens up, which is like kind of contrary to what we were talking about before. Like, oh, these people have been conditioned to not talk about their feelings.
Yeah. I think Virgil wants to see change. Like, he knows his father. Well, do we actually know if Virgil went to school or not?
I
Or
don't
do we
think
just not
Virgil
remember?
went to school just because how he described it in the past. He was like, oh,
Yeah.
father and mother wouldn't really talk about.
Okay,
like, the
assuming
schools.
he
And I
does.
feel like, sorry.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, I just feel like from him saying that, it contradicts him going to the schools in a sense, where he's like, I feel of which he could have not went to it, so he couldn't experience like the schools, but he still has like the effects from it from his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming he didn't go to the school, I think that he doesn't have that effect where it like broke him and it makes him like not want to speak out. And seeing his father's trauma, I think Virgil is inspired to do whatever he can to make things better. And he sees an opportunity to do that through Saul, like pushing Saul as far as he can to be like a trailblazer for other indigenous people.
Yeah. I feel like in either scenario, it's still like a very intentional and very like meaningful decision to add that sort of openness to a character.
Yeah.
I have a segue. Unless you guys want to continue with questions, it's a bit into the predictions. If you guys
Yeah,
have
I
anything
think.
else.
Well, what are your guys' predictions for what's gonna happen next?
I was gonna ask before like predictions. If we think back to the start of the book, and remember he's like in this, what was it? It's like a facility in a sense where like there's old people, there's young people. Why do you think that he's there? Like I'm just saying this in a sense where if he's going on to be an NFL player, like why is he in this home where young people don't even believe his stories?
Like why he's in the rehabilitation center? Or
No, that makes sense. I understand like why he's there, but like why is it so like hard for people just to believe like some of his stories in the past? Like
Maybe he's like on this like trajectory to like become this like great player, but then again, like we were predicting, like some incident is gonna happen, which is gonna cause him to like maybe burn out and like go on that sort of downfall.
Yeah. That'd be really sad to see though.
Yeah.
I think this book is heading in a direction where Saul gets his success. Like
Yeah.
despite everything that happens to him, it always seems to end up that Saul succeeds. So I think he's gonna succeed in hockey, but on the way there, like something in his mind is gonna break, right? Like
Yeah.
the amount of pressure and the fact that he's gonna always now be surrounded by the white people while playing in the NHL.
Yeah.
Like something is gonna just snap for him,
Yeah.
and he might become like the violent person that he didn't want to be, something like that. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like there will be like a betrayal somewhere in the future. Like that's my prediction. Like maybe he does go to the NHL, but then someone on the team or the team as a whole just betrays him, or like
Yeah.
when he trusts them with something, like oh this is how I play the sport, and then they just like don't want him on the team.
Yeah.
So that's something that breaks him and then just makes him like not unstable in a way.
Even
Yeah.
if it's not like this like overtly like catastrophic thing that happens to him, I feel like it could also just be like he loses himself in like
Yeah.
what he's doing, and he kind of has that like point of like realizing like, hey, this is not what I want to do, this is not who I am. Yeah.
Or there could be like an injury.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
injury in the sense where in the earlier when he fought those other people, they would like pin him against the wall, purposely
yeah.
like fight him. I feel like in the NHL, right, guys? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
NHL.
yeah.
When they're in the NHL, they're purposely gonna like injure him so bad that he can't even play anymore. Like someone's gonna they're like snap his leg somehow, or like just because he's not gonna fight back, that's the consequence, and that's what's gonna happen. And it's no fault of his own, other than him being like indigenous.
Yeah.
Or maybe like he gets beat up by a team and then his own team doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like, because there's a lot of politics in NHL, maybe like he undeservingly gets like suspended or something. Like maybe they try to fight him or something outside of the rink, and then how it comes off as is this indigenous kid, he's like so rowdy, he's starting fights with people, and that's how they suspend him from the league, and then they get him out of there because of the racism.
I feel like these are all very good like predictions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something. It's not coming now.
Do you guys have anything else?
Continue.
How do you guys think his? Because okay, do we all think he's gonna make it to the NHL?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
I feel
Yeah.
like his team would push him to the point that he has to go to the NHL.
Yeah. So how do you guys think his first game is gonna play out?
I feel like just because he is like the first indigenous like person, he might still face like the same harassment that he's been going through, you know?
Yeah, you know that the first game that they played on the rink, and then when the indigenous like their team like skated onto the rink for the first time, and then the whole like the audience was like yelling out, booing, or like calling them names, and they like reacted every time there was like an indigenous sounding name called out. I feel like he would get the same reaction from the entire audience, but this time it won't be like towards the whole team, it would just be towards him, so he would feel that more, like there would be a greater feeling about it, like he would feel it more.
Even before like they actually like skated out or like the names were announced, even the guy that had to like read them out, he's like, oh, like these are really weird names, and it's like
Yeah,
he's
like, oh, is this a joke?
yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna be like the only one that is like the joke on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys
I
think?
also feel.
Yeah, you can continue.
Sorry.
Continue.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say my prediction was, I feel like the book really likes to like contract things, and I feel like they're gonna contract like the first time he ever skated properly with like a puck and all. I feel like he's gonna start the game off like bench, right? Just because of who he is. But then someone's gonna get injured, and then he's gonna get subbed in, and I feel like that's gonna just show like the same idea of how like he started and ended like his season in the same kind of way.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction.
I think like predicting like way far ahead. I remember before, I think in the first episode we were talking about how the book might have this like sad ending. Saul might like go die at God's Lake. But I feel like as I read this and I get like more connected to Saul's story and like the different characters, it's like my predictions are kind of changing. But it's like I feel like that's because of my like emotions towards the characters now.
But I still think he is gonna go to God's Lake at the end of the book. I think maybe he's in the rehabilitation center. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it would be very powerful, but it's like I don't want it to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys think like the new teammates are gonna react to him being like the only indigenous person on the NHL team?
I feel like they're gonna like rebel out of it. Like they're gonna speak up on it and like ask for more playtime than him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
like
know,
I feel like
at the earlier chapters when we first met his brother, right? And he was like, they might not like him because in the sense where if you take a spot, you're sitting in someone else's chair and you have to take someone off the ice. And I feel like they're gonna feel resentment towards that and the same idea. But in this time, without being more welcoming, but more hostile because they don't understand his reference of life.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that at the beginning they're definitely gonna be like that. Maybe there'll be like one or two players that like they don't care that Saul is indigenous, they just care about his game, but most of the team is probably not gonna like him. But eventually as he starts like showing what he can do and he starts like saving the team, like ultimately hockey is gonna bring them together and they won't care what he is.
I think like Ayan was talking about, maybe it might be like another like parallel situation where like we were surprised with the Father Le Boutillier, or at least us three were and Ayan wasn't.
Yeah.
But maybe they will be accepting because these are okay. I guess like these are all professionals who have gone through like some rigorous training, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they will be accepting, but maybe that's just like me being optimistic about it. Yeah.
And this is before a time where like people saw indigenous people as like getting everything for free in a sense. Like there was no rights for them at the time. So I don't think they'll have the argument of like, oh, he just got here because he's indigenous. Rather, they might actually show him respect because getting to the NHL level is still getting to the NHL level. It's not like it's not given to him. And I feel like because it's in that time frame, his teammates might be more like opening just because of that reason.
Well, also sports are generally pretty racist. Like big teams like that. Like if you look at like NFL, especially with like black players. Like even recently, like they don't give certain positions to black players, like the quarterback. There's still stereotypes around that. So I think in the 1960s, there's still gonna be like a ton of racism towards Saul.
Yeah. Also, it's
Yeah,
a very
so
like,
I'm not educated in
male-dominated
sports,
space,
so
you know?
I'll take your word for that. Yeah. I retract my previous statement.
Yeah, so on that note, I think we pretty much covered our predictions and we'll
Yeah.
come back next time.